Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Hopefully everybody is having a great Sunday wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to check out the Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube page. We greatly appreciate it. Don't forget, when we get to subscriber number 500, we'll be having another giveaway. I know we had one at 100, and we're going to be having another one at 500. So we are getting there. Hopefully within the next month, we'll get there, and we'll be able to have our giveaway. But today, I told a lady at work I would do this for her. She just subscribed to the channel on Thursday, I believe it was, and she is actually a Arkansas Razorback football fan. And I told her that I would do this for her since she is an Arkansas Razorback fan, and I've been doing some over-unders on my predictions for some football teams coming up in the 2021 football season, and I think we've done 3 from the ACC and 3 from the SEC, I believe. I don't write this stuff down. I just go off the top of my head, and I believe I'm right with saying I've done 3 from the ACC and 3 from the SEC, but it may be 4 from each conference. I try to take turns and do 1 from the ACC and then 1 from the SEC, because almost everybody in this neck of the woods either likes a team from the ACC or a team from the SEC. So unless somebody gets on here and comments and asks me to do, a team from the Big 10 or the Big 12, I'm going to try to keep it local somewhat with teams and conferences that people in this area know all about. Now, as football season gets closer, probably around July, maybe early August, I'll start making predictions as to, who's going to win the other conferences and who's going to go to the playoffs and all that. But I'm not going to waste anybody's time going over a certain team's schedule game by game and talking about what games they're going to win and lose unless somebody asks me to. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into Arkansas's 2021 football season. Now, I'm a huge fan of Sam Pittman. I actually believe that Sam Pittman is going to be a great hire for Arkansas football, and I'm not saying he's going to take Arkansas back to where they were in the 90s and make them a top 10 team, but I do think he has the ability to do that if they give him time and let him run the system he wants to run with the players he wants to play with. I think he's going to be a great football coach. Now, if you remember, last year for Arkansas was a great season because in 2018 and 2019 they went 2 whole years without winning a conference game. And I think they're going to be even better this year. They're going to play 8 games, and then they're going to have their bye week, and then they'll play 4 more games. And, of course, they always wrap up their regular season against Missouri because they were huge rivals back in the days of the Southwestern Football Conference. They play 4 non-conference games, of course, and 8 conference games. I've got them going 3-1 in non-conference games, 4-4 in the SEC, which will be 7-5 overall. And for Arkansas, a 7-5 season is an exceptionally good football season, especially as bad as they've been over the last few years. Now, I still think Chad Morris would have been a better coach if they would have given him more time, but they fired him way too soon. But you kind of can't blame him because even though he wasn't there not even 2 years, it looked like the players just didn't want to play for him for whatever reason. But I do think Chad Morris would have eventually worked out had they have given him enough time. But I think Sam Pittman is going to be a great football coach. Their one non-conference loss I think they're going to get is Texas. Now, of course, that's just my prediction. Texas is also going through a coaching change because they fired the overrated, should have never been in the first place, Tom Herman. So I really don't know how good Texas is going to be, but I do still think they're better than Arkansas. But their other 3 non-conference games are Rice, Georgia Southern, and then they play Arkansas Pine Bluff in week number 8, right smack dab in the middle of their SEC schedule. I think they'll beat Rice. I think they'll beat Georgia Southern, and I think they'll beat the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. And then in the SEC, Personally, I think they're going to win 4 conference games. I've got them beating Auburn. I've got them beating Mississippi State. I've got them beating LSU. And then I've got them wrapping up the season by beating Missouri. I also think this is going to be Ed Orgeron's last season in LSU. I know they just won the national championship a couple of years ago, but this day and time in college football, it's what have you done for me lately? And ever since they won the national championship, they've had all kinds of turmoil. And the national championship is good, but it's only good if you can consistently come back after that and win 9 or 10 games every year. And LSU was bad last year, and I think LSU is going to be bad this year. I think Arkansas beats them. I think Ed Orgeron either leaves on his own or they force him out, but I predict it's Ed Orgeron's last season with LSU. So I've got them 4-4 in the SEC and 7-5 overall. So that would be my prediction, but it wouldn't surprise me at all to see them win a game somewhere on their schedule that they shouldn't win. They're not beating Georgia, and they're not beating Alabama. But I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Texas. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Ole Miss. It wouldn't stun me if they beat Texas A&M, especially since Jimbo Fisher is the most overrated coach in America. And after 175 years as the quarterback, they finally lost Kellen Mond. So Arkansas won't beat Georgia, and they won't beat Alabama. But those other 3 games, I have them losing. It wouldn't surprise me if they won any of them. But if you ask me to make a prediction right now with Arkansas, my prediction is they go 4-4 in the SEC and 7-5 overall with conference wins against Auburn, Mississippi State, LSU, and Missouri. Non-conference wins against Rice, Georgia Southern, and the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. So, Elsa, just for you, I did my Arkansas early prediction for their over-under for the 2021 football season. I've got them going 4-4 in the SEC, 7-5 overall. But if they go 8-4, it would not surprise me. Of course, they've got Felipe Franks, who's been in college since about 1997. He is still their quarterback. This should be his final year of college football, so maybe he'll go out on a good note and lead Arkansas to a 7 or 8 win season. So again, I've got Arkansas going 4-4 in the SEC and 7-5 overall with the non-conference loss to Texas in week number 2. Before we get out of here, let me give you my dad joke of the day. My wife says I'm the cheapest person she knows, but I'm not buying it. And that's going to wrap it up for another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Don't forget, coming up this week, we're going to do our weekly Braves report. We'll also take a look back at WrestleMania Backlash, which comes up tonight. We're also going to do our top 10 countdown for all you wrestling fans out there. This week's top 10 will be wrestling related. We're going to do top 10 all-time tag teams, which is going to be hard for me because I can think of a lot more than 10 great tag teams, but you can only have 10, so somebody has to be left off the list. And for all you NASCAR fans out there, one day this week we're going to take a look back at what happens today at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware. But until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.